folks. So what we'll be going to discuss is, okay, all right. So, what we'll be going to discuss is first we will look into. Okay. Just all right. So we'll just look into the agenda first, then we'll start our. Okay. So the things will be cool. Okay. I will be not boring the protect things. Okay. So we'll just start understanding pretty simple concept. All right. So in this today part, what we'll be going to discuss actually. Okay. So what I'll be going to do is I'll just try to put this particular thing to be at the bottom, so it will not annoying us actually. All right. Yeah. Yes. So in like previous session we were discussed about like pretty lens space we have discussed. Okay. After that, every things we have discussed, right? A range and a range and the lens space. Okay. So now what our discussion today is about is like np dot zeros. Okay. Zeros method will just try to understand this particularly. Okay. So we'll just clearly understand what will be the today's agenda discussion will be uh, talking actually. Okay. All right. So we'll just try to what is this happening? Okay. We'll just try to okay. Try to create it. Okay. Now we'll just start our discussion part. Okay. Now, so sorry for that, folks. Okay. By adjusting these things and all. Okay. So what I'll be going to do now. First of all, first thing we'll be going to discuss what is this zeros method is about. Okay. What is zeros method in the NumPy library? Okay. If I'm doing the mistake, okay, this particular thing I'm doing a mistake, right? So method is very wrong. Okay. Totally. So what we'll be going to discuss is what this agenda is about the zeros. Okay. Zeros method will be going to discuss basically about. Okay, what the zero method in this particularly will going to do. What is the purpose of the zeros first? Okay, we're going to discuss about that first. Second, what parameters will be taken by this taken by this np dot zeros method. Okay, what are the parameters that are involved into it? And third agenda will be what is the use of that parameter, what purpose that parameter is used for. Okay, what is the purpose of that particular parameter? Okay, what is the purpose of that parameter that we are passing into that method? Purpose of that parameter. Okay, third thing. And fourth thing, what we'll be going to discuss is like we'll be going to work upon the examples. Okay, 2-3 examples we'll be going to work upon. Okay, what are that? The 2-3 examples here. Okay, fourth particular thing is we'll be dealing with examples. Okay, we'll be dealing with an examples of np.zeros. Okay, I will be not boring with the particular things here. So we'll be going to discuss one by one. Okay, what we'll be going to do is we'll just try to create a new page. We will just start understanding what is this particular today's agenda is about. Okay, so we have discussed about like pretty basic things. Okay, what the numpy will be going to do, zeros, np.zeros, zeros method, what it will be going to do, and what the parameters it will take into that particular function. And we'll just try to break down that like pretty examples we will be going to take it, so we will be able to understand it clearly. Okay, this three agenda is about now we'll just rolling the intro part now. Okay, like this is Text with Aakash channel. This channel will all talk about the data science. Okay, like data science libraries, and we will be just dealing with the projects. Okay, after that, after the this videos will be getting done, if the response comes more, we'll just try to upload the projects part as well. Okay, that's about our channel. And now we'll just we will not wasting our time, and we'll straight right into it, the video what we have to discuss as a part of our content. Okay, now actual content will just try to focus about. Okay folks, so what is this particularly now we will be going to deal with now, right? So first thing foremost that we have understood is our agenda is very clear now, right? So we have to talk about the zeros method, right? Understood? This is for every video I'm making a mistake here. Okay, it is not a e here. Okay, just things here. Okay, now whenever I'm telling that there is a zeros method, okay, by independently, you should understand whenever the function is there, okay, there will be a parameter, right? Parameter is nothing but you are giving an input, certain inputs that you are giving to your function. Okay, like understand like very simple scenario. Okay, it is related to this like this way. Okay, like you have a car here, right? You are driving a car, right? So if you want to move this particular vehicle, so what you are giving the input here? You are giving an input that I want to like I want to go to the reverse. You will be doing the input as a reverse gear, right? After that, you will be applying the some accelerator, right? Accelerator. If you are applying accelerator, then only you are providing the input right here, right? Everyone is able to understand, right? This is a particular thing here. Understand it very clearly. Here, accelerator is a one of the input to this particular car. Car is in our case is a function now, right? This function we are able to do it basically. Now, this zeros function, what it will be going to do basically, it will take the parameters here now, right? Understood? So parameters it will be going to take. Now, what that parameters will come to into this particular zeros method? Okay, E is not there. Okay, understand it clearly. If this particular mistake I'm doing again, I'm telling E is not there. Okay, it is a zeros, zeros. Okay, you have to write that. Okay, in this, what parameters will be coming into the play basically here now? Okay, parameters, you have to tell to your function, you have to tell that what is the number of parameters that you want to write here. So whenever we are talking about the Numpy library, okay, you have to talk about the shape here. The shape is nothing but that you have to tell that how many elements that you want. Okay, understood. Then the second parameter will just start understanding. Okay, second parameter will be a data type. This is nothing but D type here. Okay, now third parameter here is about like order, in which order the data form should be, right? That will be a two forms here, C form or F form. Okay, there are like, if you want to mention it or not mention it as an optional part. Okay, whatever the now I am just discussing this two parameter. Okay, this two parameter is an optional. Okay, fourth part is a like parameter here. Okay, now this two parameters we understood, right? So what this particular thing is, now we'll understand clearly what this order and like is about. Okay, it is a totally optional part, folks. Okay, so if you are not writing this also, this is an optional part. Okay, but these two parameters you have to give. This is also an optional. D type also an optional, but you have to give this shape to your method. Understood? This is the thing is about now. Clear, right? So this is about now what this we understood. What are the parameters that is taking now? We have to understand like what is the purpose of zeros method basically. Now your problem statement understand why we are using this zeros method. What is the purpose of zeros method basically? Right? That is only the question that will comes to your mind now, right? So what is the purpose of zeros method basically now? Right? Now, our question now, we have to answer this particular question now, right? So what is the purpose of a zeros method? Understand clearly. From the method itself, you will be understanding that the zeros is nothing but what? It is filling with zeros, right? So what it is doing in zeros method is nothing but it is filling with zeros, right? Everyone is able to understand, right? So what we are doing here, we are filling with the zeros method basically. Now, second things comes to your mind is basically now we are filling with zeros. Okay, we have understood. Now you are possibly you are able to understand now clearly, right? What this particular parameter is talking about now. Okay, let's not get wasted our time. Okay, we'll just move towards we just move towards our terminal and straightforward will move towards our terminal. Okay, what I'll be going to do is I will just write it here Jupyter. Okay, Jupyter hyphen notebook. So it will straightforwardly move towards our notebook part and we'll just start understanding the examples. Understood? So this is a particular thing now. Okay, so what I'll be going to do is basically now here I will just try to write it here. Here I will just select here desktop and I will just open my, just a minute folks. Okay, so what I'll be going to do is I'll just click on new here. I'll just click on Python 3. So it will open up the Jupyter notebook. Okay, that will clear our understanding in better way. Okay, so what I'll be going to give is zeros method. Zeros methods in Numpy. Okay, zeros method in Numpy. Now, first and foremost thing, folks. So what we have to understand is about any library. First, we have to import the library first of all. Okay, we have to import the libraries. Whenever we have to use any particularly zero method, okay, it is belongs to NumPy library, right? So what I'll be going to do is I will just execute this. Now it will just change here to markdown now, right? So what I'll be going to write is hit a tab. I'll just hit a tab it will just import it here. Okay, I will just write it here numpy. Okay, I will just hit a tab, so it will going to give me numpy as np. Okay, now 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 next thing is comes to our mind is what are the parameters which I told you, right? So what is the particular documentation is comes into this particular play now, right? So what I'll be going to write is print. So what I'll be going to give here is np, right? So which we are using here, np dot zeros. Okay, I will just write it here. So it is built-in function of zeros, right? So if I'm just trying to write it like this, so what it is telling, right? So what I have to write here is, now if I'm going to write it here, help. So help method, if I'm just writing here, so what it will going to do is, it will going to create our this particular detailed documentation, right? See here. Now things is very clearer about you folks, right? I will just talk about very clearly about these things. Now, see here. So whatever this is thing, like see, this is the zeros, right? Now, what is the zero is about now? It is a built-in function zero in module what? Numpy library, right? Internally Numpy is will deals with what? It is dealing with what? Dealing with numbers, right? Dealing with the numbers basically, right? Now, whenever it is we are writing zeros, what it is returning basically? It is returning a new array of a given shape. Okay, see here what it is doing here. The same I'm just talking with the documentation part, right? So what it will be going to do? It will going to return a new array of a given shape and a type filled with zeros, right? So what is the purpose of a zeros? It will be filling with the zeros. Okay, so we'll just not talk about this particular parameters. Okay, we'll not waste our time. Okay, I have just discussed about these three things. Now what we'll be going to do is we'll just trying to clear it off all the things now. Okay, we'll just start directly straightforwardly move towards the example now. Okay, now this is a thing about like how the you will be dealing with the zeros. Okay, how you will be dealing with the numbers basically, right? So now this is a particularly about, okay, we'll just start straightforwardly. You will be getting understanding clearly. So we'll just not uh, wasting our time over here. Okay, we'll just change here examples and we'll just straightforwardly move towards the example. Now the next things comes to our teacher is about like next thing about is like you will be talking about like 0D array, right? So 0D array is nothing but what? 1D array, right? Scalar value, single value, right? Whenever it is having a one dimension, okay, one dimension, it is nothing but what? Vector, but collection of 0D arrays. Okay, whenever I am telling 2D array, it is a matrix. Whenever I am telling that is 3D array, it is collection of 2D arrays, right? So now understanding, now we will understand what is this particularly is about. Like now, if I'm telling about like 1D array, right? If I'm just telling that, I will just write it here. If I'm telling that 1D array, okay, one dimension array I want to create. Okay, if I want to create a one dimension array, right? So what I have to tell that here. Now, first thing, as you all know that we are using the Numpy library that is an alias name that is NP, right? So previously we were dealing about linear algebraic function, array function, everything we'll be going to. Here, what we are using here, NP dot zeros method, right? So here, if I'm providing the value, right? If I'm just telling that I want a np.0 one time. So this is a one particular scalar value. Now scalar value is nothing but what? A single value I'm providing into it, right? Now, if I'm just using this particular function, right? If I'm just trying to use this particular function into my example, what output I'll be getting, we will just try to explore that now. Okay. Okay. We'll just try to explore that and you will understand it clearly now. Okay. If I'm writing here, see here, np dot zeros, okay, and one. See, internally, the zero is also an array, right? Everyone is able to understand, right? So what it will be going to do is, I want to create a zeros to this particular one value I wanted basically. Understood? So this particular thing, if I'm just providing here value, see, we were whatever the parameters we were passing, right? So it was what it was actually. We were telling to our method that what kind of value we have to pass into this particular function, right? Understanding. So this is nothing but a shape. So shape is nothing but one value. We are providing into it. So it is giving to us one particular method here. Understood? So this is a particular thing. Now, this thing only will be going to write. See here. Now, if I'm talking about ndim here, okay. If I'm writing here, see, if I'm telling that np, if I'm storing somewhere else now, see, I will be storing this particular value to some variable and we'll just check it out. Okay, a dot and end it. Have to execute this, right? Yeah. So we'll just execute this. See. Now what dimension you are getting here? See. So this particular thing is this satisfied that it is a one dimensional array, right? Now this is a one dimensional array that is specified now. Right? It is now clear that whatever we have passed the value, we are getting the one dimensional array itself. Now we'll just clear it off this particular thing. Okay. We'll just clear it off all our drawings and we'll just start understanding the second example. First agenda is clear for us, like how we can create the one dimension array from this particular example, right? One dimension array is clear. So how we can provide and how we have to pass that. Now this is clear. Now second thing we have to understand is okay, we have to understand is about is second thing we have to understand how we can create a two-dimension array, okay, with filling with the zeros. Okay, I understand it. So we have to create a two-dimension array with filling with zero values. Okay, what the zeros is doing, we are filling the zero value. Okay, like 0 0 0, how many times we want to repeat it basically. Understand? So this is a particular thing we are going to discuss about. Now we'll be just creating a variable here. Okay, so what I'll be using is here np dot zeros and we'll just pass here. Okay, we'll just passing the values here now. Okay, we'll just pass the values here now. Okay, now here np.0 we have provided only one value for the one dimension array. Now for the two dimension array we'll just pass the two values here. So what we have to give here now, here in this particular case it will be going to take a C. Now we have to provide how many shape we have to provide it here. So if I'm just providing here 4,3, will it going to work? Okay, no, it is not interpreting here. Understand one thing, this error you will be getting. So for it will internally, it will take a tuple value, right? So it will internally will take the tuple values. Okay, so what it will be going to do is basically it is returns the tuple data structure basically. If you want to discuss about the Python parts, folks, you can just comment down in the chat section. So I will just made a video on that. Okay, if the more request comes, I will just make a video on the related to the Python, overall Python. Okay. Okay. So here what I'm trying to say is whenever we are using the zero function, zero method or a function, then you have to pass a tuple symbol. Okay. If I'm just executing here, you will be trying to understand that is see here, right? So what we are telling is about is 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 4 columns, 3 rows, right? Understanding? 4 4 rows and 3 columns, right? Understood? So if I'm just trying to write it here, like, is there any function called as n rows? See here. It has an endem here. See. So what type of a dimension it is now? 2 dimension, right? Yes. 2 dimension now, right? We are filling the zeros with 2 dimension values now, right? So if I'm just passing the 3 values here, see, I am just passing the 2 values. So see, understand it clearly. Whenever, if I'm telling, understand in the point of a mathematics point of view, folks, okay, this programming part, whenever I try to visualize the mathematics part, then you will be understanding this particularly. See, so one dimension will be in x-axis, right? Here. This will be an x-axis. What you are telling that I wanted the numbers to be represented in x-axis, right? This is a particular things point of a consideration here. We're telling that these are the numbers for me, right? I want to fill with zeros. Okay. This was an interpretation with the 1D array. Now the axis, it is not related to the x itself now. Now it has become the 2 dimensions for me. One is a x and another one is a y. Okay, I want to represent it in 2 dimension array, right? So internally, if you are using the zeros method, internally it is a array method, right? Internally it is what is happening. So zeros is internally is a part of a numpy, right? Right? It is a numpy library. So it will going to internally going to walk you through that. It will be implementing the array method, right? So if I'm just writing here 2-dimensional array, understanding one thing, folks, okay, here, whenever I'm telling that it is a 2-dimensional array, I'm just providing the 2 values here, right? So what I'm telling, number of rows and number of columns, I'm representing the shape of the data actually, shape of the data that I want to fill with the number, right? So what I'm telling that 4 rows which is there, see here, 4 rows on x-axis, okay, 4 rows on x-axis, okay, and 4 rows on the y-axis. I'm just representing here. Understand like this, okay? 3 columns in the this particular number that I want to represent. This is the interpretation basically about, okay? So whatever I'm writing is I want to fill with zeros basically. See here, that is only represented here, right? See, these numbers, this many numbers you are getting here, right? Understood? This is a particular interpretation is about now. Now we'll just clear it off the drawings and we'll just try to understand, try to visualize the 3D part. 3-dimension array now. Now in this particular array, now one dimension got attached now, right? That is z-axis now. This is x and this is y and this is z. One got attached now. Now, if I'm just writing here 3-dimension array, what you will be passing here now? Yes, folks, what you will be attaching here? The interpretation will be the same here. So np dot zeros itself will be trying to write it here. Np dot zeros, okay? You will be passing here. This is a method we'll be going to write. This will be a common, right? So I will just try to write it here that I wanted, okay, 2-dimension array, okay. 3-dimension is nothing but what? Collection of 2-dimension arrays, okay. So what I am writing is here is I wanted this 2D array, this 2D arrays, I want it in the two forms now, right? Two forms with 3 rows and 4 columns. Okay, it has to be divided now. Okay, it is collection of 2D arrays, right? So whenever I'm writing a 3D array, it is collection of 2D array. So 2, comma 3, comma 4. So I'm just writing like this. Try to understand the interpretation now. How the NumPy library is going to work now. Going to handle now. See, this will be able to understand clearly now. So whenever I'm writing it as C equal to NP dot, okay, C equal to NP dot zeros, and I will just write it here. I will just pass it here. I wanted a 3D array. Means 3D array, it is a collection of two-dimension arrays, right? Two-dimension array. So what I'll be going to write? Two-dimension arrays. Okay, like this I want it to be represented this. See here, so how the interpretation will be here now, right? The collection of two-dimension array, right? Understand, 2D plus 1D is nothing but what? 3D, right? Understanding. This is a particular thing I am representing here. I want a two-dimension array filled with zeros. Okay, this is a particular representation is about now. Okay, this is a particular thing how we can represent with the zeros. That's it about this, guys, folks. Okay, zeros, like I have just uploaded. I'm just starting this video on the zeros method. Okay, detailed implementation about the NumPy library, whole NumPy library. I'm just walking through, guys. Okay, if you have any doubts, you can just comment below in the chat section. So I will just answer your questions. Okay, so if you want any kind of a sort of a doubts, you can just put into the chat section, like what videos I want to make related to that data science. You can just put down in the chat section. Okay, now the next part is like, if you like this video, you can just subscribe to my channel. Okay, you can subscribe to my channel and you can just share with your friends. Okay, that's it about this, guys. Okay, like I hope you have liked this video. Thank you, folks. Thank you. Thank you.